You spend years fighting a civil case. The judge finally rules in your favor, and you assume the battle is over. But a courtroom victory means nothing if you can't actually recover your assets or force that contract into action. When enforcement stalls and judgments sit uncollected, the problem usually isn't the lawyer's performance in court. It is a structural failure in the legal workflow itself. This is the inactivated legal universe, a state where a company's contracts, property titles, and litigation strategies are handled in total isolation from one another. This fragmentation creates a gap where evidence is lost and procedural deadlines are missed. Without a unified strategy, the very documentation meant to protect you becomes the weak point that sabotages your enforcement. When legal rights are won in court but remain stalled in the real world, the system breaks down. This is legal entropy, a state where winning a case creates a piece of paper but fails to deliver justice. This framework identifies the specific traps of a fragmented system. When documentation and compliance aren't linked, you end up with missing agreements and trademark vulnerabilities that traditional firms often overlook because they only treat isolated issues. The core problem is the handoff. Most people hire different professionals to manage contracts, litigation, and property with no single system connecting them. This lack of coordination leads to business disruptions and relationship disputes that could have been prevented if the documentation and the strategy were aligned from the start. Every time a case moves between disconnected advocates, vital context is lost and the strategy weakens. Fragmentation is a structural issue. To fix it, you don't just need more lawyers. You need a system where every legal action supports the next step in the chain. Zumosun replaces that fragmentation with an integrated activation ecosystem. This model shows the direct line from documentation and compliance to enforcement and transformation. The logic is simple. Proper compliance backs your contracts. That compliance feeds into your governance. Strong governance protects your titles and brands before a dispute arises. This ensures your evidence is verified and enforcement is ready in court. By connecting these nodes, the ecosystem turns a fragmented legal journey into a predictable path toward recovery and growth. This system runs on a multidisciplinary execution engine. As seen in Step 1, it begins with a comprehensive diagnosis that evaluates risks and assets across law, finance, and technology simultaneously. Zumosun Truth Lab and ECDI Lab provide diagnostic intelligence to validate your strategy. In Steps 2 through 4, the engine builds the legal architecture, auditing documentation for future enforcement. Finally, Steps 5 through 7 integrate these workflows, transforming vulnerable files into a risk-resistant organization. This engine supports everyone from tech startups and manufacturers to healthcare providers and real estate developers. It is the mechanism that moves a business away from reactive litigation and into a state of permanent legal infrastructure. Applying this framework moves you from an inactivated state to an activated civil litigation universe, where your legal systems are fully operational. Next is the ease of civil litigation phase. Here, legal workflows become organized, making compliance and court management predictable rather than chaotic. The final stage is the EUC phase. This is the goal, a scalable legal infrastructure, where your governance systems are strong enough to protect the organization as it grows. You move from a state of financial loss and insecure property to one of protected assets and enforceable rights. Instead of merely reacting to lawsuits, you operate from a position of systemic certainty. You have a choice: continue fighting isolated, fragmented cases, or activate a complete civil litigation ecosystem. Winning a case should be the final resolution that secures your assets, not a secondary battle over execution. It is time to stop managing isolated risks and start building an organized legal system that protects, enforces, and transforms your business. Contact the Legal Activation Team to design a customized roadmap for your organization. In a world of legal complexity, an integrated ecosystem is the only way to turn a court judgment into a real outcome.